morning, everybody. Game Time Brian, otherwise known as the dumbass mailman, doing this stuff every day. Rise and grind. Dreary South Jersey cold weather. Woo, I don't know, man. I need to be a snowbird. I ain't having this anymore. But it's what we do, right? It's what we do. Hopefully, I only have 5 more years of this. We'll see, God willing. Hopefully I got 5 years, then I can roll out. And then it's party time, baby. But, we got a lot of work to do between now and 5 years, that's for sure. We can't worry about 5 years, right, people? We got to worry about today. Tomorrow is not a promise to us. So, I like doing these drive-in videos. It's a way for me to talk to you guys. Hopefully you find it entertaining / informative, but less informative than more entertaining and just shooting the breeze. I would say I think I'm more entertaining when I'm awake. I think I'm pretty quick-witted. My coffee is warm. You ask why I use it it's like a solo cup. Why? Because I don't like losing all my coffee mugs or breaking them. So unless I'm going on a long trip, I get to work, I chuck it out. That's it. But anyway, hot rumor, we'll get to that, about the Philadelphia Eagles. So all my Eagles subscribers, you're going to be happy. Us Cowboy fans, I don't know. Let me know what you think after you go. But first things first, I just saw what Odell Beckham Jr. made this year with the Baltimore Ravens. Let me fix the camera. I'm a friggin' mess. I apologize, people. Look at me. I'm all over the road. Nah, I'm good. OBJ. Remember we wanted him in the offseason with incentives and everything. OBJ made $16 million this year. Wow. I didn't even have time to break down how many catches, how many games he actually played. But you saw him in the most important game of the year. You saw OBJ. What was he doing? Sitting on the bench. God bless the man for getting that kind of money. I told you when the Ravens signed him, I told you that, shout out, they were bidding against themselves, in my opinion. I don't think anybody was giving him that kind of money. I think he signed a $14 million deal and made $2 million in incentives. Oh shit, I forgot, at the end of the month, all the cops are out, baby. They got people pulled over all over the place. That's it, I'm doing 50 already. She's flying by me. You got a cop. Yeah, that's it. There he is right there. Cop. People tick me off. Get him. Get this person. No blinker. Illegal lane change. I don't know. But anyway, OBJ. Shout out to you, my brother. We ain't the only one that has players' families running their mouth. OBJ's father was ripping Lamar Jackson is going to be an MVP. This is what I tell people. It's bullshit, man, how these players get treated. Lamar did nothing to nobody. Lamar is who he is. He's 2-4 in the playoffs. Okay, still a 2-time MVP. And I go to CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. Mrs. Lamb, with all due respect. With all due respect, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, Mrs. Lamb. Your son is going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. That's all that matters. He has set not 1, but 2 Dallas Cowboy franchise records this year. It's been a long franchise. I understand the rules, and they added a game and all, but he blew away the record. So, you know who's throwing the ball, Mrs. Lamb? Dak Prescott. So maybe maybe instead of talking shit on Dak, maybe you give him a hug and say, you know what, Dak, thank you for giving my family generational wealth. You'll hear me use that term a lot because it's true. After this contract, if he doesn't blow his money, which I don't know that CeeDee Lamb is that type of guy, his family for multiple generations won't. I mean, they'll work, but they won't have to necessarily. Then again, the way our world's coming, shit, spend it. You don't know what the hell's gonna happen. But I'm being funny. You know what I mean. So yeah, OBJ, crazy. These family members, they get all upset in the playoffs, but getting to the playoffs, you see, when you get down to the nitty gritty, okay? You get down to the nitty gritty. What do you have? You have a lot of prima donnas. I'm not saying there hasn't been like prima donnas making it to the Super Bowl. I would say Odell Beckham, with the Rams. But remember, the Rams put the chips all in. The Rams put the chips all in for that Super Bowl. That Stephen Capelli Jones didn't really. He said he don't want to run his organization that way. Well, Stephen, the Rams put all their chips in. They won a Super Bowl. Now they're already back in the playoffs, out of cap hell, and have a brighter future than you. I understand Stafford's old, but it seems like with Kyron Williams, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Puka Nacua comes out of nowhere to be arguably the best, one of the top 2 or 3 receivers this year. The Rams are fine, Stephen Jones. Take a note out of their book. But getting back down to championship or the Super Bowl, you don't see a lot. You got Kansas City. Who's a loudmouth on Kansas City? Who's all about me on the Kansas City Chiefs? I can't think of anybody. Who's the one guy on the Chiefs who comes out and says, give me the ball, causing problems? I see a hard-running Isaiah Pacheco, and I see a bunch of hard-working guys. I see an unbelievably talented, determined Patrick Mahomes who embraces the moment and doesn't shy away from it. Let's go to the 49ers. Do you see the 49ers infighting at all? 49ers are loaded on talent. But the one thing that the Niners have is they're all in together, baby. When you look at the 49ers, they all got Purdy's back. Whether I like Kittle or not, they all love Kittle. Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Jennings, their offensive line, the defensive personalities that they've added to that team with the Randy Gregory and the dude out of Washington that they got. They just got studs everywhere, and their coaching staff, and they get along and they play as a team. There's no prima donnas on that team. They're all hard-working, dirty, get down in the mud type guys. Yeah, they're talented. You don't ever hear anything about them. Baltimore? Well, they lost last week. Odell Beckham? You wanted to make the most money, you did. Where you at, bro? Lamar? Signed a big deal. I'm still on record to say Lamar is an awesome teammate, but it's a team game, man. You add certain pieces, sometimes they don't gel. Odell Beckham hardly played in that game, and when he did, it was meh. He was all right. I think he's done. He should take his money and ride into the sunset, because that was a gift that you got. Detroit Lions, they all love Dan Campbell. I don't know how long that's going to last. You can't do some of the things that Dan Campbell did and take the game away from your players, because that's what he did. Thomas Garrett and I both agree that that call that Dan Campbell did, ex-Cowboy, I have a lot of love for Dan Campbell, and the way he leads men is great. But you were wrong, Dan. You were wrong. Am I going to guarantee that you would have won the game? No. But I would have guaranteed that you wouldn't have had to go for an onside kick at the end of the game. You probably would have won the game if you took both of those field goals. Scoreboard alone tells you they would have won, but I get it. I'm not going to sit here and be that guy and go, well, no, we don't know what was going to happen. We don't know how the game would have been called any differently. Now I'm stopped for a school bus, so I'll take this moment to take a nice hit of my coffee. So you know where I'm going with this. Team game, as always, but you got to stay away from the prima donnas. I'm not saying you need a bunch of choir boys, because you need some dog and some players. And getting back to our Cowboys, we definitely need some dog, some toughness. It's not about getting first-round pedigree talent. It's about finding those dogs. So there you go. Last topic. This is going to be my headline of the video. We're not even through the Super Bowl, and silly season has been begun, but the favorites to land a $10 million a year running back. I could see it happening too, because Howie Roseman knows. I'm sorry, Linda, but Howie Roseman knows he's on the line. You can't have back-to-back years like you did. Howie's going to be aggressive. I envy Eagle fans when it comes to this time of the season. Howie Roseman will wheel and deal. I wish I had Howie Roseman for this part of the season, for adding to your team. Sometimes you make it wrong, sometimes you make it right. You know, he's not always right, but he's taking his shot. Shout out to Howie Roseman. I'm on record of saying I don't like his drafting. Again, I could have drafted, haven't, 2 number 1 picks. And I told you before the season, he's probably going to be hit on one and miss on another. I'm not sitting there saying that Nolan Smith is a bust, but he didn't get much of a contribution than he did from Jalen Carter. So I'll stick with my original plan. But Howie Roseman, Eagles are the favorite to land free agent running back Saquon Barkley. Yes, Eagles are the favorite to land Saquon. They're going to be aggressive. I do know Kellen Moore loves Saquon Barkley. I'm a little jealous because I love Saquon. But at the same time, for the Dallas Cowboys, I don't want Saquon. I don't. I want to go young and in the draft. But it's funny, Eagles are going to have money. They're going to create upwards of $60 million. They are. Dallas can create upwards of 80 mil. They ain't going to create 80 mil, but they could if they did a lot of things. They'll probably have 30 or 40 million, 50 million, Dallas, under the cap. So everybody that keeps texting me about the cap. Give me a break. So I don't really want Saquon, but I don't want to have to play Saquon. Now, where does that leave DeAndre Swift if that happens? DeAndre, you need to go anyway, because Kellen Moore doesn't get the ball to the running back's hands via the pass, and that's what you do as a specialty. Swift, come to Dallas, man. I know you're a Philly guy, so that probably won't happen on a lesser deal. But, yeah, I don't think Dallas is going to get any running back. If we get any running back, it'll be one of the veterans, maybe Derrick Henry for a year. But rumor is Dallas wants to go young and draft somebody, which is fine with me. I'm totally good with that. But Saquon Barkley to the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. Shout out to you, man. The Eagles just keep it going time and time again. I don't know if it's going to happen. Makes a lot of sense. It's a splash move. It's a Howie Roseman type of move. And he's the closest thing that I know. Don't get mad at me, people. He's the closest thing to Barry Sanders that we have, at least in theory. He's been too banged up, can't stay healthy, but he is explosive. Let me know what you think about that. Eagles are the leader in the clubhouse to land Saquon. Is what it is. Howie Roseman, it's your move, big guy. Peace out, late.